One of the reasons that this race is so interesting is because it is a race, and there are just very few races across the country. Because of the way redistricting is done, certainly in California, seats boundaries are drawn to protect incumbents, not to generate interesting contests. I'm wondering how you feel about that, and whether you think that that's good for democracy, good for for debate in this country, and whether that generally keeps this country on a firm, progressive track in terms of the election of leaders.
It's good that you mention a progressive track, because that's what we need. Having a real race out here has generated a lot more interest in the issues and the personalities involved, the records involved. And now we've got a real choice. Someone who's been a career politician and someone who spent their whole life in service to country, first in the military, then in a police department. So the issue here is giving people a chance to actually look at what's been done in this country. The Republican Party came to power in 1994 under the contract with America that Congressman Doolittle was a part of. And the question people need to ask themselves is, what part of that contract was kept? Have they balanced the budget? Have they limited themselves to 6 terms in office? Have they reduced congressional budgets? Have they stayed with states' rights? The Republican Party has left so many people in this country that people are looking for a change. And since we don't have redistricting, something that Congressman Doolittle actively campaigned against last year in the special election, it's going to be up to the voters of the district to decide if they want change. Go to the ballot this November 7th and vote for change.
Congressman.
I find it fascinating that a liberal like Mr. Brown is trying to articulate what the Republican Party stands for. This man belongs as a lifelong member of the ACLU, supports gay marriage, supports the permission of Mexico before we build a fence on the border, supports giving favorable in-state tuition rates to illegal aliens who are here, supports paying Social Security to those illegal aliens, supports a cut and run in the war on terror. And yet he's going to define for all of us, the Republican Party. David, to answer your question, I think generally speaking competition is a good thing whenever we can have it, and we certainly have it in this race. California in the redistricting doesn't really lend itself to very competitive races. I think even the liberal Peter Schrag in the Bee just recently acknowledged that. Dan Walters has acknowledged that. The Constitution does say the legislature is supposed to do the redistricting, and that's a position that I support, because the legislature represents all the people of the state. It's a process where there's some accountability. These phony, nonpartisan commissions, it does nothing more than move the politics into a different arena, an arena where it's far more difficult to really tell what's going on. I didn't feel that turning the redistricting over to liberal retired judges who've done so much to hurt our republic would be the solution that I'd wish to see. But I can understand why Mr. Brown would like that solution, because being liberal judges, no doubt he would be excited with the result that they would produce. I believe in transparency and accountability, and as imperfect as the present system is, it is what the founders gave us.
Thank you, Mr. Doolittle. And now a follow-up question for discussion by our 2 candidates. Candidates, do you feel that there are more and more people becoming disenchanted with the parties that they used to follow and becoming more moderates? And if so, what could you do to make them come to your party?
Well, I think we've seen the problem very well illustrated in the last answer, the dreaded liberal word. This race isn't about being a liberal or conservative. When did supporting and defending the Constitution of the United States become a liberal value? When did wanting to see this country be secure with real border security become a liberal problem? This race does not lend itself to liberal versus conservative, Democrat versus Republican, left versus right. This is clearly right versus wrong. You want accountability? Take responsibility for money you took from Jack Abramoff. Take responsibility for money you took from John Wilkes. Take responsibility for money you took from Foley. Everyone else in Congress is giving the money back and taking responsibility for taking money from convicted felons. Yes, it is time to take responsibility in this race.
Congressman.
You know, it is about right versus wrong. And you're wrong on every major issue in this district, and you're trying to distract people with this phony attack on the culture of corruption. What this is all about is the real issues, and you don't want to focus on the real issues. You're wrong on the war on terror. You're wrong on illegal immigration, which you support. You're wrong on gay marriage. You're a lifelong member of the ACLU, an organization which threatened to sue one of our Rockland schools when they put God Bless America on their school marquee following 9/11. That's where you're wrong, Mr. Brown. You're totally out of touch. You try and be a conservative to the Republicans and a liberal to all you screaming hooligans outside there who are also liberals. So, you know, be who you are. That's who I am. I'm a conservative. Tell us who you really are. Don't be the flim-flam man that's one thing in the daytime and another hobnobbing with liberals like Willie Brown, the mayor of Berkeley, and the mayor of San Francisco at night. Just be who you are.
Thank you, Congressman.